Oh my god, bro. I have so many questions. I've been slacking on my fucking Discord. So let's God fucking damn it. How we want to structure this? I gotta answer some questions. Hey YouTube, it's time for me to answer the questions by Discord. And if you might have noticed or you subscribe to YouTube, you might know that I've been a little lazy. You know, we had 2x KO, we had new Grand Blue patch, we've had a lot of stuff going on, but it's finally time for me to answer some questions. I don't know if I'll get to all of them. We have so many questions I haven't answered. I feel like it's only been like a week or two, but I appreciate all the participation anyways, and I'll get to as many as I can. If not, we'll cover it next week. So starting from, I guess I should start from the bottom, but since I already answered this one, I'm having trouble sticking with a character, finding my main in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. I have 3 characters and I play them enough. Any methods or advice on figuring out which character I should focus on to try and take to a high level as I improve at the game? That's so interesting because I literally just got done with a tournament and the new Grand Blue patch came out and there's a bunch of really viable characters. There's a bunch of fun characters. I really have no clue who I want to play. Right now, I'm deciding between 2B, Versusia, Catalina, Lucilius, Grimnir, and I'm honestly not sure. So I feel like there's a couple questions that I need to ask myself. One is, you know, who do I have the most fun with? And right now, it's not 2B. So I don't think I might keep playing 2B, even though I did rep her at Evo and whatnot. And I still think 2B is one of my best characters. And then it's like, who do I think is strong? And who do I think I'll enjoy playing the most? I think if you're new to the game, you don't really need to worry about who's strong and whatnot, because no, like at a certain point, like until a certain point, your skill matters way more than character strength, right? So right now for me, it's between Versusia, and I was thinking about like learning Catalina, learning Lucilius, right? And so what I think I'll do, if I honestly, I'm leaning towards Versusia just because she's new and really fun. But I think I'll like spend the day learn Lucilius, learning the new combos, learning everything, playing online, see how I do, and then do the same thing for say Catalina and maybe Grimnir, and then whoever feels the best, feels like I have a lot more to explore, feels the most fun to me, right? So it's a combination of a lot of different things. And I think that's a very, very personal judgment. It's really hard for me to tell you who to play, right? But I think if you err on the side of like, who do you enjoy the most? I think you most of the time can't go wrong. Because even if they're not the strongest character, you'll be more incentivized to stick with them and perform better that way. All right. Anyways, defense and patience. This is a crazy Atsu Kun Shibuya? Okay, sure. Atsu Kun. So my topic is, do you have any tips on how to improve patience and defense? I've been playing fighting games for a while and there's always improvements here and there. That is true. It comes to aggression and execution reaction, but my patience and defense is not consistent for the most part. Just jump back, forth, and randomly when I can. My opponents play lame and I'm frustrated. So basically this guy's getting frustrated when he rushes people down, but when they have to defend, or I would say like, it feels tough on their end, right? At the same time, there's part of my mental where I want to improve that slow play style that everyone goes for. Tips on improving patience. Thanks in advance. All right, so this is a little tough because it's how I say, game specific. Also, this one's funny. Like all these are in the last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This one I literally skipped from like 2 months ago. So shout outs to Niji Progressionist. But yeah, tips on defense, it's kind of hard to say, right? I think it's really game specific. So I think the most important thing you do for defense is figure out what are the strongest options and rotate those strongest options. So for example, we're watching Grand Blue, delay throw tech is really good. I mean, delay throw tech with a button is really good. So delay mash. And Street Fighter delay mash is also very good, but you actually need to do delay throw tech a lot more. And also just blocking is really good in Street Fighter. And then there's certain context sensitive options like jump forward out of the corner. That's also really good. So to me, it all comes down to figure out what the best moves are in terms of risk reward and then like learn how to rotate them, right? And that's not necessarily the same thing as playing lame and being patient, right? And so if you want to be lame and play patient, I think this is a little harder to do. I think it depends on the kind of character you play. If you play a character that's really needs to be aggressive and you're against someone that if you're playing, if you're playing lame, you're actually losing. Like for example, someone that can like stock up resources or throw a slow fireball and move behind it, you're gonna have a really rough time, right? So I think one, you kind of need to pick a character that enables you to play more patient if that's a skill you want to learn. But even that being said, like there's a difference between like camis, for example, Street Fighter 6. Some of them play really lame, to the like Punk, for example. Like Punk's not really like crazy dive kicking. He's just kind of like bulldogging his way in, and then you'll run against camis that just like they're always holding up forward, they're dive kicking, they're spin knuckling, right? So you gotta kind of find your own style. But even for like really aggressive characters, if you just like throw off the timing and you like, you know, do your strong moves a little bit less, so when you actually do them, they're more effective, you can find a lot of success in that way. So I hope that makes sense. Being patient can be tough because people just kind of YOLO, right? So you kind of have to find your own style and see what fits. All right, mental stack and proper patience. More timer. How do you keep a positive mindset when you're playing against someone who's doing scrubby tactics or do cheesy stuff? That's an easy one, right? At least the way I like to see it, I think mindset is we all have our own personal solution to having an effective mindset, right? And something that works for me might not work for you. But the way I see, if I'm playing against someone that's doing like the fucking scrubby shit, like they're mashing on wake up and they're beating me, and they're just doing like really gimmicky stuff that I just don't know how to beat, I recognize that, yeah, sure, they're beating me now, but in the long run, maybe in a game or two, or maybe like after a week of practice, like especially for Tekken, right? Like I'd be running to like really mashy people, really scrubby people, and I recognize that like, okay, once I get more time with the game, like I'm gonna be way better than this guy, right? So to me, I just look at the long game. Like it doesn't really matter if especially it's not like tournament or anything, like who gives a shit about rank points? Like as long as I'm winning in the long run, like I don't really care. And against anyone that's like a really really scrubby, like I'm just gonna win the long run anyway. So it's never been something that bothered me. But you gotta figure out your own answer to that, right? Where are some? This is a two-parter. Okay. What can I practice with Ken and Bison rather than practicing combos? Like practicing and finding Oki. You're answering your own questions. So learn to use this fireball, amazing tools, some different Oki. Yeah. I think you got the idea. You kind of know what to do. The one thing I think is missing here is like finding new tech, right? And the way I find new tech is maybe I'll watch like a high level replay of my character and then see something they do that I don't, and then I practice in training mode, and then I start to implement a match, right? Which is just doing it over in training mode, going online, and then specifically going online to practice that thing, right? The only other thing I'd say you're kind of missing here is, let's say you get beat by someone in ranked and they're doing like a strategy you don't know how to deal with. Boot up training mode, practice beating it, right? And figuring out what you can do, figure out what your options are. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So hope to help. It looks like I answered this, maybe. Yeah, I didn't really answer this on stream, but follow up on attending a local mental fatigue and bracket. So Tubby was basically like, I get mental fatigue and bracket, how do I avoid this? And the key is it's actually like impossible to avoid. So it's more of like not using too much energy throughout the day, you know, making sure you get good sleep, all this other kind of shit. But also like, it's a reason why in pools, like a lot of people just do like really strong players do really autopilot strategies, because they're not trying to like lock in and use like 200% energy against like their round one opponent, right? So there is like a conservation of energy kind of thing. Think of it as like, if you're a sprinter, right? And you know, you're Usain Bolt or you're any other top level sprinter, but you have to, instead of just running your one trial in the Olympics, you have to run like 12 trials. And the first trial is against like 10-year-old kids. Would you go all out and sprint against the 10-year-old kids? Well, you could, but you don't really need to, right? You could just do like you could just run normally and you would still beat the 10-year-old kids. and you'd be less exhausted for your next match. So think of it like that almost, but mental energy instead. Mika online. Why I feel like I just saw this name. Anyways, I'm improving using multiple games. I'm entirely new to fighting games. I currently own all the titles. They seem great, and you want to experience them all before spending thousands of hours on a single title. That's fair. Do you think this is a valid way to improve fundamentals? Yeah, I think so. I think it's beneficial. And so basically the question is like, will I get good at fighting games if I play multiple fighting games instead of one fighting game? I definitely think so. The thing is, you're going to improve at different things from multiple fighting games as opposed to one fighting game. So for example, like if I poured 2,000 hours into Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, I would probably understand how to develop matchup strategies. I'd probably understand a lot of different nuances that I wouldn't get from playing multiple games. There's a lot of value in depth, but there's also a lot of value in breadth, right? And so being able to experience a bunch of different game systems, being able to experience a bunch of like different things on how they work, I think also has merit. So I think you just do what you want to do. To be honest, I have no clue what is most optimal for getting good at fighting games and improving fundamentals. Your guess is as good as mine. If I had to guess, I do think playing multiple games helps you pick up new games faster. But in terms of like getting really good at a game, and your guess is as good as mine. I really don't know. But I think they're both valid strategies. All right. Raphael, holy shit, this is an essay. I'm not going to read this. I'll read the question. How do I approach a defensive opponent? I've been learning Street Fighter 6 and fighting games in general. I feel like I've been slowly improving at, but one thing that's still hard for me is figuring out how to deal with over defensive players. I'm Gold 5 Kim. A really hard time trying to deal with a defensive modern Kenny with DP when I get close and fireball me at a distance. I did represent slide, but I don't rely on it. Right? Okay, so when I think of someone like that's a really defensive, I almost think of someone that, how I say, like is really good at like reading your offense and like teching everything and like mashing out when you're inconvenient. But this is more of like, how do I play against someone that's really good at zoning me out, right? And I think the answer is if they're jumping. Okay, so a fireball's a risk, right? And if they're really predictable about the fireball, then you can jump over and punch it, right? And if they are anti-airing you, it means they're not throwing fireball. So there's kind of like this rock, paper, scissors of will they throw a fireball or not? And oftentimes it can be in your favor, right? As long as you rotate your options properly and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of other things you can do, right? You can try to parry the fireball. You can try to like, neutral jump a fireball, or like in other games, like go around or move around fireballs. Just so like you break up the timing and it's a lot more for the opponent to focus on, right? Kim has a lot of other things, right? She has EX teleport, she has run, you can just walk forward and press a button, right? So if they're scared and they're like just waiting for you to jump and you walk forward, they really can't do anything about it, right? And you can react in time to the fireball in case they throw it. So there's a lot of different ways. It's more of, because you're gold 5, there's a lot of like low-hanging fruit. So you just gotta figure out which one you want to do. My recommendation would be learn to just walk forward when they're not throwing fireball. And a lot of times people will either press buttons, they'll start whiffing buttons, or they'll start jumping at you, and just be ready to like capitalize on that. The other thing is, if you get the easier option is if they stop throwing fireballs, just drive rush at them. Once you condition them to stop throwing fireballs, drive rush and then go in. Also, Kim has her elbow drop in the air. That's really cheap against baiting DPs. All right. I was right about Grimnir. Thank you. Not surprised. Is there recommended defense option against Grimnir Sigils? Just make him fight. Yeah, I think in general, like you really can't tech throws against Grimnir, and you really want to rely heavy on guard cancel, right? So anytime Grimnir does a safe jump against you, when he has the side, basically, for those that don't watch Granblue, right? Like Grimnir is a character that's really, really good at throw baiting. But he has to take some risk to get into that throw bait range and get that optimal setup, right? So if just like Zangief, for just like any other like character that's really strong up close, you want to make sure, or in this like specific scenario, you want to make sure you're doing something that deters that, right? And don't give him the option, which is what he wants, is like for you to delay tech or tech throw, right? So don't do that and try to guard cancel. Essentially, that's really what it comes down to. Other than that, you can react to the air dashes. You can also just space them out. You can wait for the seals to go on cooldown and then press your advantage. There's a lot of things you can do. But yeah, there's not like one specific thing that Grimnir can do to counterplay. It's kind of like a rock paper scissors. And honestly, like, because this is kind of getting into like really high level matchup shit, honestly, you kind of just need practice. But patience, not teching, and trying to react to the dashes is probably the best thing you can do. All right, is there easy crosscut input for Kimberly? No. The issue is Tatsu doesn't work well as a crosscut. The only time that this works as a crosscut is like if you drive rush under them and then you do the exact input you have here, which is actually, I think I do 2, 3, 6, 4, and then it auto corrects the other way, which is how you would do the crosscut. But my recommendation is like, don't bother with crosscut because you don't have a true DP with Kim. You just do the crosscut Tatsu, and I mean, just like jump back or try to parry. Those are way more consistent. All right, when is the timeout strategy viable? Okay. I think in general, number one, don't pursue a time. In general, I think don't pursue a timeout strategy. There's not like, because fighting games are meant to be exciting. Thank God, timeout strategies are generally not viable, right? Yes, timeouts occur, but you're not usually playing for them, right? And especially against some characters that are like, or some players that are very YOLO, it's impossible to time them out, right? Because they're always going to be going, they're going to be very high risk, high reward. So honestly, I would say a timeout strategy is almost never viable. That being said, in certain situations where, you know, you have the life lead and the time is low, then yeah, you should opt for a timeout, right? But yes, I'd agree with this. Timeouts are a tool in the bag of tricks. Yeah, I'd say vast majority of matches, right? If you notice, like, I think I played Granblue for 3 hours today. I played Street Fighter. I almost never get a timeout, and that's because like it's just they're designed to not time out that often. 2xKO happened quite a bit. I think that will eventually change. But yeah, I think you have the right understanding, yeah, of how timeouts work. Also, timeouts can just mean like playing very, very passive, right? And making your opponent take risk. All right, improving while being offline. I was considering asking for coaching, but give this a shot. Low MR Master, Jamie Eddie. Limit time to grind, go on vacation, have a lot of free time. Now when you use the train with drills. Afraid this approach might not work. Spy internet. How do you improve? Okay. So I think there's a lot of things you can do without playing, right? I do think it's going to be suboptimal, right? I think one of the best thing about fighting games is that you can always test yourself. You can like literally give yourself a test to see if what you're doing is working. And the issue with playing offline is that you can't give yourself that test. So you kind of have to just trust the process, and because you're doing that, you can't really tell like what's effective and what's not as easily, right? So that being said, I think there's a lot of things you could do. Even like 2xKO, where I don't have access to the alpha anymore. Even before the alpha, like I was thinking about shit in my head. I was taking a shower. I was like thinking of strategies. Like I thought Darius Braun was the team I played during the alpha, and I thought of like half the tech I actually did during the alpha when I was in the shower before the fucking alpha came out, right? So I think just like thinking about the game, I think is really important, and like trying out those things in training mode, really important, right? Yeah, there's a lot of drills you can do if you're low MR master. I mean, there's probably like, I'd probably be grinding the shit out of reaction drills, right? Can I react to the dummy doing DI or jump? Okay, if I can do that, can I react to them drive rush, DI, or jump, right? And then keep going on. Like, even just grinding that out is gonna make things so effective when you get back online, right? So there's a lot of things you can do. Obviously, you can learn new combos, you can learn new tech. It's basically just like how to use training mode as an intermediate advanced player, right? So you just gotta figure out what would work best for you. Yes, yeah, I do think of Darius and Braum in the shower. I'm getting out of here. How do I beat 2B? I can't beat 2B. She just hits buttons in neutral. That's fair. I try to block her out. Staggers on the minigun. All right, first of all, you don't even tell me who you play. Oh, yeah, I play Jita. Okay. I actually think Jita matchup isn't too bad. One thing you have to keep in mind is like her offense, while strong, doesn't really give you like much opportunity for mix up, and she doesn't do chip, and she actively builds you meter, right? So blocking in this game for a lot of characters is not a very good strategy, but against 2B you can just afford to block like a crap ton, right? And then yeah, on her minigun, so like once she uses minigun, it's now your turn, right? You can do dash L, and it's really hard for her to beat, and obviously Jita can do other options like EX Fireball and stuff. So it sounds like honestly you just need to be a little bit more patient when you block. And yeah, like she does out neutral you, but you out damage her, right? And you have a DP, so it means that like when you're blocking her on defense, like it's your advantage as well, right? So while she wins neutral, you kind of win offense and defense, so you really have to exploit that, right? So it sounds like you just gotta work on like punishing for her strings, which means blocking a lot, waiting for the parry, waiting for the minigun, and then going in, right? Oh, so dash L is way better against her this patch because she can't punish it with a parry. How do I fight Lidia in Tekken 8? Bro, I literally have... I don't play Tekken anymore. I hate to break it to you. You probably have a better idea of how to fight Lidia in Tekken 8 than I do. So I will tell you that one of the tricks is don't ask me for matchup advice to Tekken. But in general, like, I mean, here's how I would learn. How do I fight Lidia in Tekken 8? How to beat Lidia. And then I'd watch this video. That's really your best bet. Learn everything you can about the character, play the character, and go from there. Or just lab versus the character for 20 hours. Breaking the wall versus tag fighters. Hey, I'm learning how to approach fighting games and tag games, but everything feels weird. I know the combos. I don't know if there's a video out there helping people come out from 1v1 to tag fighters. Yeah, it's different, right? There's a lot of things that apply and there's a lot of things that don't apply, right? I think, for example, take what you can anytime you're trying to transition between a game, right? Take what's similar, and if it's not similar, like you just gotta treat it like a new skill you're learning, right? And I think 2XKO and Street Fighter 6 aren't that similar. Yeah, sure, there's certain things like strike throw, very similar to 2XKO. How you whiff punish, pretty similar to 2XKO, although there's like bullshit assists and that sort of thing. Anti-airing, pretty similar to 2XKO and Street Fighter. So there's a good amount of things that like you can kind of translate, and the things you can't, like you just gotta learn from scratch. That's really what it comes down to. So yeah, it's gonna feel foreign, and you're not gonna know how to approach characters because there's assists and shit. And that's not a surprise, right? So I think honestly, it just comes down to playing more tag games. Really, that's what it comes down to, and try to take what you can from the games that you play and apply it to other ones. Oh my god, it's the essay, bro. All right, nice, Major. Friend of the channel. Trying to break through the intermediate skill level. Interested in becoming better and play come to XKO. Played every day for 2-3 hours and signed up for Fly Quest Ladder and 98th and 228th, 3 and 3 isn't that bad, right? So it sounds like you're doing the right thing. I will say, I got second, third in that tournament. I played 2XKO at least 8 hours a day, right? So you are competing with people that played the game a lot more than you. I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that you still did pretty decently, don't bang yourself up too much for that, right? Problems face is large variance of play where sometimes I'm feeling hot. That happens to everyone. I feel like the reason why people think variance in play is an issue is because they don't realize that happens to literally everyone. So yeah, you're gonna have a variance in play. There's nothing you can do about it, right? People have hot streaks, people have good days, people have bad days. Really the best thing you can do is try to recreate the conditions when you're having a good day. All right. For me, that's, taking care of my IRL shit, making sure I get good sleep, nutrition, working out, etc. But that still doesn't guarantee me a good day. Does it seem like there's any secret or mind-blowing discoveries left required to break through? I'd probably agree with that. It's a bunch of little things in optimization. I agree with that. I've been playing fighting games since 21. I haven't been broke 1,000 hours on any game, and it seems like a lot of people I'm facing have quite a bit more experience playtime. That's correct. Yes. The answer to your question is yes. People most likely have more time. Obviously, like for someone like me, I don't need to put in 1,000 hours to every game. I think I'm at 640 for Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. And actually, I've probably, while this video is running, I chalked up another half hour. So this number is like not truly legit. It's probably like 400 because I'm an AFKer in the game all the time. But like I'm allowed to get away with that because I played the previous version and I play other fighting games that kind of like help synergize and help me do better at the game, right? But yeah, you probably are getting number diffed quite a bit, especially if you haven't been playing fighting games that long. And you're right, it's a bunch of small stuff, right? I doubt there's a secret. I've played you in Guilty Gear. You're pretty well rounded as a player. Yeah, so honestly, it's especially if I don't know how old you are, right? But it's more of a slow grind, right? I will say that if I could give you any advice to break through the intermediate skill level outside of playing more, because I feel like that's the easiest advice I could give, is like just try to, if you want to make the most of your time, just try to optimize your practice, right? Because you're right, there's a bunch of small things, there's no secret, but if you can, how I say, make sure you're playing better more often, and you learn to optimize your training and figure out like what gives you the best results, you're going to be able to bridge that gap quicker. It's still going to take time and effort and that sort of thing. All right, what is that thing that makes you love fighting games? For me, honestly, I just like I like the competition, right? I used to play competitive Dota, right? Like I've always been good. I always like video games, right? So that's not an issue. I just like the skill and like, all the shit that comes with like in video games. I started with Dota. I was tired of shit teammates, so I came over to something with 1v1, which is fighting games. I've always just liked fighting games as a kid. I don't know, like I've played Smash Bros and mashed around and I had a good time. And so like, I had that nostalgia thing for it. And the thing I like is like whoever wins at a fighting game is often like, it's very, how I say, like unlike a lot of things, like who wins in Dota or who wins when you go out and play blackjack or a lot of other different things in life, it really just comes down to skill, right? And if you're more skillful, and especially in fighting, like you can really express that, and most likely you'll be the person that comes on top. And I really like that in the game where like if I learn something and I figure out an innovative strategy that no one else has come with and I can exploit that and win because, you know, I've put in the time or like I came up with a really creative solution in order to win. I don't know, I like the competition and I think this is a very good vehicle for competition because it's very skill based. Hope that makes sense. I feel like there's a word I was looking for. Like it's very merit-based, meritocracy of fighting games. I kind of like that aspect. Getting people interested in locals. Oh yeah, we already kind of talked about this, right? Or is this a different person talking about locals? No, wait, I definitely replied to this. Oh yeah, I did reply to this. So, yeah, locals are cool. The TLDR of this thread is this guy's trying to run locals. Locals are cool. And so it's hard to get people out to locals now compared to before because the net play is really good. What type of arcade stick? Oh, we're gonna end on an easy one. All right, awesome. Anyways, that's the end of the video. No, I do use Hitbox Cross-Up. I actually like the thing. It's a little expensive, but I do think it's one of the best arcade sticks I've used. Though, while I probably would not switch from a Sanwa stick, I do think there's better buttons out there than Sanwa's currently. So maybe if I really wanted to optimize, I would switch out the buttons. But really, you can't go wrong with a lot of arcade sticks. It's more of like, what's your price range? If it's Sanwa, it's probably good. You really can't go wrong with too many sticks. But yeah, I also like pad. People use leverless. I need to do a controller video. I have so many fucking controllers just lying around. I can make a banger vid. Maybe I'll do that one day. Anyways, like, share, subscribe. Take care, y'all, and have a good one. Oh, ask your questions in Discord. Join the Discord. Join the Discord. It's in the description. All right, take care. I actually really like the mechanical ones. I haven't tried the new Sumitsu. I've tried old Sumitsu. I fucking hate those ones. Those buttons are trash, bro. Anyways, let's see where we're at in the tournament. Cream City Convergence, bro. That name just fucking cracks me. But like, they really couldn't think of a better name than Cream City Convergence. Like, bro, I really don't get it, bro. I really don't get it.